Welcome to Deliverance Tube, where spiritual battles end in victory. Freedom starts here.
This is Deliverance Tube, bringing you prayers, teachings, and spiritual empowerment. I am Ebenezer Makelimi. Let's begin today's journey.
Hello viewers, and a warm welcome back to Deliverance Tube. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always standing with us. If you're joining us for the first time, we are grateful to have you here. This is a place where real stories meet healing, hope, and restoration, especially in marriages and homes under attack. Today we bring you a story that will shake your heart, open your eyes, and remind you of the value of the person sleeping right next to you. A story of a man who walked into his home with divorce papers in his hand, ready to end everything, ready to walk away from his marriage, ready to give his heart to another woman. But what he heard the moment he stepped inside that house broke him, humbled him, and changed his life forever. This is not just a story about pain. It's a story of awakening. A story of mercy. A story of how God can restore what we think is already lost. So sit back, relax, and watch to the end, because the lesson in this story may save a marriage, maybe even yours. Now let's begin with the topic. I walked in with divorce papers, what I heard next broke me.
Thank you, moderator. Before I begin, I want to say this: I never imagined I would share this part of my life publicly. Not because I'm proud of it, but because it changed me in ways I didn't expect. This isn't just a story about marriage. It's a story about blindness. About drifting away. About almost losing what mattered most to me. If you've ever felt distant from someone you love. If you've ever reached a point where walking away seemed easier than fighting, then maybe, just maybe, this story will speak to you.
I can't do this anymore. It's over. I'm leaving.
My name is Nelson. And this is the moment my whole life almost fell apart. Let me take you back to the day I walked into my home with divorce papers in my hand. Every marriage has storms. But ours felt like a ship already sinking beneath the waves. Our home was quiet, not peaceful quiet, but the type of silence that wounds. We lived together like strangers. I and my wife, Patience. We spoke only when necessary. We shared a bed, but not a life. Days passed, weeks passed, and I didn't even know when our hands stopped touching each other. I was tired. Tired of arguing. Tired of feeling invisible. Tired of feeling like we were holding onto a corpse of what once was love. And in my weakness, I began talking to someone else. Her name was Nancy. She was warm, attentive, and made me feel seen again. I convinced myself she was the escape I needed. I convinced myself divorce was the only answer. That evening, with divorce papers in my hand, I walked into our home ready to end everything. Until I heard a sound that froze my blood.
I can't do this anymore. It's over. I'm leaving.
This is the moment that changed everything. I had the divorce papers in my hand, ready to walk into the living room and end my marriage forever. But then, I heard her voice. The voice of my wife. Patience. It wasn't her usual voice. It was low, trembling, broken. I stopped. I listened. "But I'm dying," she said. My heart dropped. The room spun. Everything inside me collapsed at once. She was talking to her friend, and the words that followed pierced me deeper than any knife. "The doctor said it's cancer. I don't even know how to tell him. He has been so distant. I don't want him to stay with me out of pity." She stopped. I felt something inside me shatter. My wife. My wife who smiled even on her worst days. My wife who held our home together. My wife who loved me even when I didn't deserve an ounce of her affection. She was dying. And I didn't even see it. She continued speaking, her voice breaking like a child's. What will it change? Months left to live. Maybe I failed him as a wife. Maybe I wasted our marriage, she concluded. I stood in the hallway, frozen.
I didn't see it. I was too blind. I ignored everything. I'm so sorry.
The divorce papers slipped from my fingers. My world tilted, then collapsed around me. In that moment, guilt swallowed me whole. Shame choked me. I saw myself clearly, a selfish man who was about to abandon his dying wife. Everything inside me changed right there. The love I thought had died rose up inside me like a fire. And for the first time in a long time, my wife became the only thing that mattered. That night, I didn't sleep. I watched her lying beside me, so fragile, so peaceful, so unaware of the storm raging inside my chest. I reached for her hand. She hesitated, then slowly pulled away. And that hurt me more than anything else. How did we get here? When did love become fear? When did my wife become a stranger shivering in her own marriage? The first thing I did the next morning before the sun even touched our windows was end things with Nancy. I didn't sugarcoat it. I didn't explain deeply. I didn't give room for negotiation. I simply said, "It's over." She screamed at me. She cursed me. She told me I would regret it. She told me I was choosing the wrong woman. But I didn't care. For the first time in a long time, my wife became the only thing that mattered.
It's over!
I started waking up early to make her breakfast. Not to impress her, but because I wanted to serve her and to make up for years of neglect. I drove her to work. I picked her up. I sat beside her in the kitchen while she cooked. I insisted on washing the dishes. I held her hand in public again. Something I hadn't done in years. I listened when she talked. Truly listened. At first, she was confused. Then cautious. Then little by little, she allowed herself to believe in us again. We went shopping together. We took quiet walks in the evening. We laughed at small things. We rediscovered each other, not as the broken couple we had become, but as the friends and lovers we once were. And when we made love again, it wasn't routine. It wasn't obligation. It was two hearts learning each other all over again, slowly, gently, deeply. Her cheeks regained color. Her smile returned. Her laughter filled the house again. I fell in love with her. All over again. But little did I know, another shock was waiting for me. A truth I never expected. A twist that would leave me numb, confused, and grateful all at once. The weeks rolled by, and for the first time in years our home felt alive again. Love was breathing. Hope was rising. We were healing. But something still sat in my chest like a stone, the cancer. I knew what I heard. I knew the fear in her voice. I knew the tremble in her words. And as we grew closer, the burden grew heavier. I needed to tell her I knew. I needed to let her know she wouldn't face death alone. I needed to promise her that every minute she had left, I would stand by her side. So one evening, after a long day filled with small joys and gentle tenderness, I finally gathered the courage. But before I could step into the bedroom, her friend arrived again. I moved quietly, thinking I'd wait until they finished talking. But then, I heard something. Something so unexpected that my feet refused to move. You were amazing today,
You were amazing.
her friend
today.
said, full of
You're
excitement.
Definitely gonna get the lead
You're
role.
definitely going to get the lead role. My heart paused mid-beat. My wife laughed, a relieved, playful laugh I hadn't heard in years. I just hope I can keep the emotions consistent, she replied. Playing a terminal cancer patient is exhausting. I froze, not out of fear this time, but confusion. What did she just say? I leaned closer without meaning to. My mind was racing. My heart was skidding between relief and disbelief. My wife wasn't dying. She wasn't hiding a terminal illness. She was rehearsing for a drama presentation. I sat down on the nearest chair. My whole body went numb. For a long moment, I didn't know whether to cry, laugh, stand up and shout for joy, or fall to my knees and thank God for giving me back the woman I thought I was losing. It felt surreal, like waking up from a nightmare only to realize the sun has been shining all along, and in that moment, I understood something. The fear of losing her is what made me fight to find her again. And without even knowing it, she saved our marriage with a role she was only acting.
Papa knew almost everything.
After overhearing what I thought was her death sentence, guilt swallowed me whole. Even before I learned the truth, the weight of what I had almost done crushed me. Because the truth is, the guilt didn't start after the rehearsal revelation. It started the moment I heard her whisper, "I'm dying." And that guilt changed everything. At dinner, I watched her closely, closer than I had watched her in years. Her wrists were thinner. Her eyes looked tired. Her skin looked pale, and every detail stabbed me with one painful question: how long has she been fading, while I was busy chasing another woman? I couldn't eat. The food felt like stones in my throat. She looked up and asked, "You okay?" But I couldn't answer. The guilt was louder than her voice. That night, I reached for her in bed. My fingers brushed her arm gently, like someone afraid of touching what he almost lost. But she stiffened. She hesitated. Then, she turned away. That simple movement, that small turning of her back, felt like a knife twisting inside me, and that was when the truth hit me with full force. I didn't even know when we stopped touching each other. I didn't know when the warmth in our marriage turned cold. I didn't know when her laughter stopped, or when the sparkle left her eyes. I was living in the same house, but blind to her pain. And in that moment, something inside me broke, not because I thought she was dying, but because I realized I had killed the love between us. The guilt was overwhelming. The shame was suffocating. I saw myself clearly, a husband who had failed. A man who had strayed. A partner who almost abandoned a wife who still loved him. And that heartbreak, that guilt, that crushing realization, is what pushed me to fight for her with everything I had.
Let me pause here and help you breathe through what just happened. Up to this moment, Nelson had reached the breaking point in his marriage. He walked in with divorce papers. He had already started speaking to another woman, and he believed his marriage was beyond saving. Then, in a single moment, a moment he wasn't prepared for, he overheard what he thought was the devastating truth, that his wife was dying. That shock, that fear, that guilt, it cracked something open inside him. For the first time in a long time, he saw his wife again, not as an obstacle, not as a stranger, but as the woman he once loved deeply. And from that moment, his heart began to change. And what happened next was nothing short of a quiet, steady miracle. Silence settled between them, but it was no longer the silence of anger. It was the silence of two people finally facing their truth. In the days that followed, Nelson's actions spoke louder than apologies ever could. He started waking up early, not out of obligation, but out of love. He helped around the house. He cooked. He cleaned. He listened when she talked. He reached for her hand in public again. At first, his wife remained cautious. Her heart had grown used to disappointment. And she didn't know if this newfound tenderness would last. But Nelson didn't give up. Day after day, moment after moment, he chose her, with patience, humility, and sincerity. Slowly, the ice between them melted. Their conversations returned. Their laughter returned. Their closeness returned. They took evening walks. They prayed together again. They learned how to hold each other without fear, how to speak without shouting, how to love without hesitation. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't rushed, but like sunrise after a long night, God began restoring what had been dying in their marriage, one gentle step at a time. The hard questions they finally asked each other. They talked for hours, longer than they had talked all year. Hard questions came up. Why didn't you tell me you felt ignored? Why did you stop trusting me? Why did we stop praying together? When did we become strangers in the same house? They didn't raise their voices. They didn't defend themselves. They didn't blame each other. They listened. Really listened. Because sometimes, healing begins when the shouting stops. The root wound finally exposed. At some point, Nelson said something that changed everything. I wasn't angry at you. I was angry at the way life turned on us. And I took it out on the one person who stayed. Her heart broke all over again, but this time, something mended too. Because the truth finally had space to breathe. As the evening sun faded behind the curtains, she pushed the divorce papers aside. Slowly, deliberately. Then she looked him in the eyes and said, "These papers are not our story, not if we choose to write another chapter." He nodded, tears gathering at the edges of his eyes. Eyes that hadn't softened in months. "Let's rebuild," he said. From the ground up. Not out of obligation. Not for the children. Not because of culture, family, or church pressure. But because beneath all the pain, there was still love. Bruised, but breathing. Silent, but calling. Weak, but refusing to die. They knelt together, awkwardly at first. Two wounded souls, side by side on the living room floor. He placed his hand on her shoulder. She placed hers over his. And for the first time in over a year, they prayed. No long grammar. No religious performance. Just a simple, broken whisper, "God, help us." And something shifted. Not magically. Not instantly. But undeniably. A small flame flickered again, the flame they thought had gone out forever.
Lord, you've been faithful through the night and day. Your gentle mercy never fades away.
Final message and moral of the story. This story is not about divorce papers. It's not about a misunderstanding. It's about something many couples face, but never say out loud, the distance that grows, not overnight, but one silent day at a time. Because the truth is, most marriages don't break because of big sins. They break because of small neglects. Small assumptions. Small hurts that pile up like stones. And sometimes, it takes a shock, a scare, or even a misunderstanding to wake us up to the treasure we were about to throw away. The moral of the story. 1. Don't wait until you're losing someone before you see them clearly. Many people realize the value of their spouse only when they fear losing them. But love is not meant to be awakened by fear. It's meant to be nurtured daily. 2. Communication is not optional, it is oxygen. Silence is not peace. Avoidance is not harmony. If you don't talk, your marriage will be filled with assumptions, and assumptions destroy more homes than infidelity. 3. Marriage survives not because two people are perfect, but because they are willing to rebuild, again and again. Love is not found, it is built, brick by brick. Day by day. Apology by apology. Forgiveness by forgiveness. The strongest couples are not those who never fight. They are those who refuse to let the fight win. 4. Don't let pride become the third person in your marriage. One apology can save a home. One conversation can restore peace. One moment of humility can rewrite your future. 5. Love is louder than fear, but only when we choose it. Nelson walked in with divorce papers, but he walked out with a second chance. And Patience, she walked out with a husband who finally remembered who she was to him, a partner. A friend. A gift. A covenant. A home. If your marriage is struggling, don't bury it. Talk. Pray. Seek help. Try again. There is hope if two people are willing to fight for each other, not against each other. As Deliverance Tube, we bring you stories that heal, restore, and open your eyes. And if this story touched you, then share it, comment, and let another home be healed.
All good, it's all good. God good, God good, God good. All good, it's all good. God good, God good, God good. All good, it's all good. God good, God good, God good. All good, it's all good. God good, God good, God good.
All things work together for my good. Say all things work together.
Thank you so much for watching this powerful story on Deliverance Tube. If this video touched you, if it opened your eyes, or reminded you that God can still restore what is broken, then I want you to do something important. Tell us in the comments, what part of this story spoke to you the most? Your testimony, or your word of encouragement, might be what God uses to heal another marriage. And if you know someone going through a difficult season, a couple drifting apart, a home that feels like it's breaking, a friend who needs hope, please share this video with them. Let this story become a seed of restoration in someone's life. And if you are here watching, but you have not yet subscribed, I want to invite you to join the Deliverance Tube family. We share messages, stories, deliverance prayers and teachings that heal, restore, and transform life and homes. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and stay connected. More life-changing videos are coming your way. Remember this, child of God, no marriage is too broken for God to fix. No heart is too wounded for God to heal. No home is too lost for God to restore. If two people are willing, and if God's grace is invited in, dead love can rise again. May the Lord strengthen every marriage represented here. May He restore communication, rebuild trust, and rekindle love. Your home will not fail. Your home will not scatter. And your testimony will be heard. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And now, here is Ebenezer Makalemi with the final word.
I appreciate your time today. If today's teaching helped you, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell and share. You can also follow the link in the description to connect with me on social media for questions, suggestions, and constructive contributions. You may also share your own story with us if you feel like. Your donations are also welcome. God bless you.